When I was contacted by an anonymous billionaire for an exclusive interview, I expected the usual rehearsed sound bites about philanthropy and giving back to the community. Instead, I was met with a passionate, unfiltered monologue, a defense of unregulated capitalism, and the role of the ultra-wealthy in society. The man who requested anonymity explained his choice to remain unnamed. "It's not about me," he said. "It's about the principles. I'm just one cog in the machine that makes the world go round." Let's call him Mr. Atlas in reference to Ayn Rand's Atlas Shrugged, a book he later revealed as one of his inspirations. Mr. Atlas began with the topic of government regulation. Regulations, he argued, are nothing more than red tape that stifles innovation and productivity. Look at the tech booms, the industrial revolutions. These weren't sparked by bureaucrats. They happened because individuals and businesses were free to push boundaries, sometimes taking risks that regulators would never allow. He cited examples such as Elon Musk's ventures into space exploration and electric vehicles. Imagine if NASA had a monopoly on space travel. We'd still be stuck in the era of government satellites and no reusable rockets. Entrepreneurs do what governments can't: move fast and break things. Atlas pointed to studies showing that overly regulated economies tend to grow slower and create fewer jobs. The freer the market, the richer the society, he declared, quoting economist Milton Friedman. The topic of taxes brought out a visible passion. "Why should I pay half of what I earn to the government?" he asked rhetorically. The government doesn't innovate. The government doesn't create. It merely redistributes, often inefficiently. He likened taxes to theft, drawing an analogy. If someone broke into your home and took half your paycheck at gunpoint, you'd call it robbery. But when the government does it, we're supposed to call it civic duty? Atlas argued that lowering taxes, or even eliminating them for the wealthiest, would lead to more economic growth. "When I keep more of my money, I invest it. That creates jobs, funds startups, and drives innovation. When the government takes it, they waste it on bureaucracy and pork barrel projects." The topic of wages was where Mr. Atlas became most controversial. Paying people low wages isn't exploitation, it's opportunity, he insisted. A job at $7.25 an hour is better than no job at all. Entry-level jobs aren't meant to be careers, they're stepping stones. Atlas argued that artificially raising wages through minimum wage laws forces businesses to cut jobs, automate processes, or raise prices. Who does that hurt the most? The very people those laws are supposed to help. He dismissed the criticism that stockholder payouts lower worker wages. Companies exist to make profits, he explained. Without profits, there are no businesses, no jobs, no economy. Shareholders are the backbone of the capitalist system. They take the risks, and they deserve the rewards. One of the most personal topics for Mr. Atlas was the issue of wealth inheritance. If I spend my life building an empire, why shouldn't I be able to leave it to my children, he asked. He railed against estate taxes, calling them a form of double taxation. I already paid taxes on the income I earned to build my fortune. Why should the government get a second bite at the apple when I pass it on? He argued that inheritance allows families to maintain stability and invest in long-term projects. The Rockefellers, the Carnegies, these families created lasting legacies that have benefited society. Why should we punish success? Perhaps the most polarizing argument Atlas made was his defense of the elite's role in society. People like me are better equipped to run the world than governments, he said bluntly. We're motivated by results, not votes. Governments are bloated, inefficient, and corrupt. businesses are streamlined, efficient, and accountable, at least to shareholders. He pointed out that private philanthropy often outperforms public welfare programs. Bill Gates has done more for global health than most governments combined. Elon Musk is solving climate change and advancing space exploration. Do you really want these people bogged down by regulations and higher taxes? When I asked Atlas how he envisioned a better world, he didn't hesitate. The solution is simple: let the market work. Deregulate, lower taxes, and let people keep the fruits of their labor. The invisible hand of the market will guide resources to where they're needed most. He also proposed a radical idea: abolishing government-controlled money. Let cryptocurrencies and decentralized finance take over. Governments can't be trusted with the power to print money. They always abuse it. Atlas's arguments were as compelling as they were controversial. Agree or disagree, he left me with a lot to think about. As he said before signing off, capitalism isn't perfect, but it's the best system we have. The alternative is stagnation, inefficiency, and the death of innovation.